This is the Life Out Loud podcast with your girl, QuiQui Symone. I appreciate y'all for joining me today. And today, I have got an interesting host, another interesting host. His name is King Alico.
You already know, man. Know what I'm saying?
They already know because you were on the last episode, right?
I'm going to be on every episode.
This is true.
Me?
He better be on every episode.
Now, whatever episodes I'm allowed on.
He's allowed on every episode, y'all. I promise. This babe. So I'm going to call him babe throughout it. I definitely would like for you guys to make sure that you are listening and subscribe to the QuiQui Symone, LOL with QuiQui Symone podcast that's on YouTube. Please go out and do that. And then if you're on Facebook, please go out to the QuiQui Symone page. That's QuiQui Symone. And please join us. So today, babe, we're going to get right into it because we got some good stuff.
But hold on. You know, I feel like we need to let the people know about this pink elephant thing because that's kind of like your niche. So the pink elephant in the logo, if you guys familiar with the logo, the pink elephant is basically dealing with the pink elephant in the room. You know, we got to turn the elephant in the room, but we call it the pink elephant because it's more of a situation. Oh man, D Black calling me, y'all. I'm sorry.
So look what happens. This is what happens when we are like writing live. This is okay.
We live and direct, man. Shout out to D Black too, but you know the elephant in the room is just that unaddressed issue. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We call it the pink elephant. You know what I'm saying? Because it's already enough to have an elephant in the room, but the pink elephant is is that thing that stands out, but nobody addresses it. Nobody speaks on it. So we just really talking about live. Real deal issues and things of that nature that, you know, most people really won't cover. And majority of the stuff that she speaks about is, you know, real life experience. It's not just us talking about what we think or, you know what I'm saying, anything of that nature. So, yeah, the Pink Elephant Podcast, man.
Exactly.
LOL with QuiQui Symone, baby.
Yep. And just like you said, the Pink Elephant is all we're going to do in the podcast is give you something that is raw, uncut, unfiltered, the topics that are very uncomfortable to talk about. And, babe, I think that's what we do talk about on this podcast. You ready to get into it?
That's our conversation. It's funny because that's our conversations on the regular. So, you know, this is, you know.
It's like
this is what we do. We just putting the headphones on, letting you guys come in. So, yeah. But let's get it, babe.
So let's talk about the pink elephant in the room, which is our topic for today. And it's called Shh, Don't Say Nothing.
Shh, be quiet. Don't tell nobody what just happened.
Now, what we're going to talk about today is the way that Babe just said it. It really sounds like a laughing matter, but what we're talking about today really isn't a laughing matter. We're going to be talking about molestation and rape and how it has impacted me. And this is a part of my journey of getting free from the things that have had me bound for a very, very long time, the things that I said that I would never talk about or that I would take to my grave. So first things first, let me give you some statistics, babes. Let me ask you this. Have you heard any of these statistics or have they might be a little alarming to you. So just tell me, just listen to these statistics. How alarming do you think this would be to you? So 1 in every 10 children will be sexually abused before they turn 18.
That's crazy. Just the thought of it. It don't matter if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. Like it's sad. You know what I mean? For that to be a reality, it's sad, man.
And it's 2018. These are the stats from 2018. Now, 90% of the sexual abuse victims, they know their abusers. It's someone that's either in their family, a neighbor, a friend, someone who they really don't see as a threat to them. These are the people that are actually abusing them. And once we listen to a little bit of my story, you'll see that I'm a part of that 90%.
And that's sad too, man. And I haven't been a victim of this, but I definitely have family members who have dealt with it, man. And it was hard for me being, you know what I'm saying, on the outside of the situation because it's a family member. So I can only imagine how it impacted you and my actual family members who actually, was
Right.
molested and raped and stuff like that at a young age, and that's crazy, man.
Well, let me give you just a few more statistics here. We have 1 in 7 abuses have juvenile perpetrators, and it also happens on a school day. So basically, kids are molesting kids. That's crazy, in my opinion.
That is.
Or at least they're, not 18 yet.
And I can dig it because it's like older cousins and,
Right.
things of that nature like that.
Exactly.
And then you got, and it all, this kind of stuff derives because you got to look at, a lot of times we look at the individuals, but then we neglect to look at the fact of their parenting, their parents, what they seeing.
Right.
What's being displayed to them, what's going on in their environment, you know what I'm saying? And, a lot of times it's not just the individual, is pretty much, them being a product of the environment, them reacting and doing what they've seen, so.
This was the one that was most alarming to me. 20% of those that are abused are actually abused before they turn 8 years old. Now, that one, that's crazy. Like, for real, that's really crazy. So by the time they turn 8, they've already been abused.
Okay.
That's really alarming to me, just because you think of a little child that might be in the first, second grade. By the time they're in the second grade, they've already been abused.
Right.
That is a very sad statistic right there. And also the last stat that we have is really about different signs of children that have been molested. And that is that most children that are molested, they'll have some sort of a sign where, like, they're either drinking alcohol or they're on some kind of drugs, and most likely they'll end up dropping out of school wherever they are if they don't know how to handle or cope with that particular molestation or that rape that happened to them, that encounter. So I think that those stats from 2018 definitely says a lot about what's going on in our society right now. And
definitely.
It really is not the culture that we really want to create, just having kids. That's like...
It make me, I ain't gonna lie, it definitely put me in fear, man, with my kids not being with me. You know what I'm saying? Not having my kids live up under my roof. I mean, things could happen. We not watching 24/7,
Right.
They got school, we got work and stuff like that. But when your kids is just not in your supervision at all, like, it's scary.
It's unimaginable,
like,
the things that can happen. Yeah, definitely.
I try to keep my mind clear of even thinking like that, because it could be depressing, even though it hasn't happened. But you just never know, man. And
yeah, that is depressing. When I first told my dad, literally, less than a week ago, of all these things that I'm about to share with y'all, it was heartbreaking for him. So he really had no idea of a lot of the stuff that was going on. And so with that stated, let me ask you, I know that you said it just a few moments ago, babe, that you knew of people that were molested. How were the impacts, in your opinion, when you found out that somebody was, raped or molested? What were those impacts? How did it impact the life of that individual? Were they a productive person in society, or did it hinder them, just from what you know?
I mean, a little bit of both. Like I said, it's a few different people or whatever. But it's a little bit of both. You got some people that are productive in society, but they stay busy only to try and, get
it right, or
work their way. It's like they're trying to work their way out of that situation.
Right.
And what I mean by that is just like, people stay busy. They don't want to think about it. They don't want to have time to themselves like that, really. So they just find themselves working. Then you have those who were impacted on the opposite end of things, and it was devastating. You know what I'm saying? You got those people that get raped and molested and don't bounce back, like it does something to them mentally. But then you got those people that are able to overcome it mentally and just keep it going. But even those individuals still deal with it to some degree.
to this day?
Yeah. So,
were some of those people in your family?
You traumatized, definitely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why I say family members. You be traumatized. You know what I'm saying? Some people are traumatized, and then it also affects those individuals when they have kids. You wonder why some people don't want nobody around their kids. Some people don't even trust their significant other around their kids.
True.
And it might be their child together.
Right.
But because of what happened, the person that did that to them, they would have never thought that this individual would have ever did that to them. Like, this is family, uncle or dad or, whoever it is. And so with that being in mind, it's like, they just be so alert, man, and they watching their kids with the eagle eye. They don't want to, they not leaving their kids at home with the parents and stuff in it. And that's tough, man, because I had an individual, like I said, a family member that dealt with that. And they had a child together, and the significant other, could never go in the bathroom. He could never be in the bathroom with the kid alone.
Wow.
Or anytime, she wasn't around and the kid made a noise or something like that, she was going off or panicking and going crazy, running, trying to see what's going on. And, I know that was tough on the guy, on the husband.
Right.
Y'all married, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't there when all that stuff was going down, but at the end of the day, like, he got to deal with the repercussion of it, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
When he didn't have anything to do with it. So,
I'm sure that was difficult in that scenario of the person that you knew, because definitely not being able to trust your significant other with the person that you guys created together. Definitely, I'm sure that person didn't want to be in that state of mind, but like you said, everybody handles things differently. So because they do, this is the situation that she was in, and unfortunately her husband is getting the bad side of it. He's having to put up with that part of it, knowing that he had nothing to do with that particular abuse. But definitely what I want to do is I want to talk or share a little bit about my story. But before I do that, I want you guys to know that you've got to get somebody to talk to. If there's anyone that's listening right now, please find someone to talk to if this has been your story, because it definitely can hurt, and you can carry these things for a very, very long time. And so for me, if you listen to the last episode, I really believe that this is the root cause of why I was so promiscuous. The last episode being, or the previous episode being, about, sleeping with or being in relationships with people that was someone else's husband, someone that someone else was in covenant with. I don't think I really understood the value of sex the way that God intended it to be. That's really honestly what it was. And it was really because of how sex was introduced to me. And it wasn't until I got into my late 30s when I began to value it more. So I'm going to share with y'all why, what actually happened. So
before we get into that, my question, and you say you've been through this and you dealt with it. My question is it difficult? And this is not, and I know you're gonna get more into it on the back end, but how difficult is it when this happens? Like, the grudge side of things, like, how difficult is it when to see these people and to be around these people, like, you know what I'm saying? The forgiving part, the grudges side of
wow.
things.
That part was definitely difficult. I think for me, I was numb. I was numb to everything. And as I get ready to explain a little bit of my story, you'll see why I became numb with all of the instances. But so
before we get into your story, we're going to hit y'all with grudges. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna hit y'all with the artist spotlight of the day. We doing things a little different this episode. We normally have 2 songs or whatever, and then we had an artist spotlight. But because this is such a meaty topic and she has so much to talk about, we're going to go ahead and hit y'all with the artist spotlight, which is Brinson.
Grudges.
With Grudges, man. This is one of my favorite songs from the, was it Black Canvas, right?
Yeah.
from the Black Canvas Project. So if you haven't heard the Black Canvas Project, man, by Brinson, make sure you go check it out. Support him, you know what I'm saying, if you hear something on there that you like. But I definitely believe that y'all gonna love Grudges. I think it's dope, man. Dope. So we finna get into that, man.
7 times 70. I gotta let go. Grudges, grudges, grudges. Deep in the night, I keep hearing them calling me. Grudges, 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 grudges. I gotta let go. Grudges, 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 grudges. Deep in the night, I keep hearing them calling me. Grudges, grudges, grudges. I gotta let go. Grudges, I gotta let. Some things I need to get rid of. Had some friends that wasn't real, cuz. No. Chitter chatter, now they talking about me. Talking about me. Trying to stay safe, but they talking about me. They talking about me. Try to keep peace, but they don't want that. They don't want it. Lord, intervene before I fight back. Fight. In the streets, I expect that. But we in the kingdom, so I reject that. Love ain't love till you give it away. You like, where's God? Cause they getting away. Bite your tongue, we got a ton to say. Hey, it's about to pop off, I gotta love the pray. Go. Grudges. Deep in the night, I keep hearing them calling me. Grudges. I gotta let go. Grudges. Deep in the night, I keep hearing them calling me. Grudges. I gotta let go. I gotta let. Prince, I need to forgive, but I really don't want to. What do you do when the anger's inside you? Replaying the things that used to get by you. Wish you could go back so you show 'em what you would do. I used to be violent, I feel like they pushing me. So much is affected, I think that they pushing me. I'm like, how can this all go inside of the church? I went to the council and making it worse. Lord, I'm confessing, I'm clogging my blessings, so take it away when I feel like I'm stressing. I'm trying to forgive and you giving me lessons. Can't let them in lessons, keep me out of the heavens. Constant professing, you gave me your best when your son died and rose and y'all speaking in sessions. Tweeting and testing to test, I'm telling you. Go. Grudges. Deep in the night, I keep hearing them calling me. Grudges. I gotta let go. Grudges. Deep in the night, I keep hearing them calling me. Grudges. I gotta let go. I gotta let go.
All right, that was Grudges by my brother Brinson. I love that song, babe.
I really rock with Grudges, man. You know that's one of my favorite songs. That's my favorite song off the Black Canvas EP, and it's definitely one of my favorite songs by Brinson, period. Yeah. Point blank. I got music with Brinson. And I like the songs we got, but that's definitely my favorite by Brinson.
That definitely sticks to it really, really pierces the heart for real. So real quick, before we get into the actual topic here, or we start getting into a little bit more of the things that I've encountered, let me give y'all a little bit about Brinson's handles. If you go to his IG, if you go to God Chasers, and that's with a Z. Yep. God Chasers, or go to his Twitter at I am Brinson, and he's also got a website, iambrinson.com, so you will be able to get any of his music there. But Grudges, that is my song.
That's my song.
No, that's my song.
That's my song.
Anywho, so let me go ahead and get into the story. I know I've been talking about like what the things that have actually happened and occurred to me in my life. So let me take you guys on a journey to let you know what actually happened to me. It's a blessing that I'm even sitting here next to my husband right now. So at the age, I would say maybe about 7 or 8, I was in the 2nd grade. I was introduced to porn by my mother's boyfriend, which was my brother's dad. And what he would do is he would make me come home every day, and my mom wouldn't be at home, but I would come home after school and sit down. He had this big bag of porn in his garbage bag, and every day we would sit there and watch porn. So just think about 2nd grade, that's either 7 or 8 years old. I'm sitting there watching porn every single day, like to the point to where I could tell you exactly what was going to happen. I knew all about sex, like probably before I should have known about it. And then from there, I'm going to take you on another journey. Well, this is the part of the journey. After that happens, then I actually had visitors over the summer. My grandmother's foster daughter had come over with another relative of mine, and she was under the age of 18. So if y'all remember those statistics, she was only under the age of 18, and she was 15, I believe, at that time. And her and another relative had come to visit us for the summer. And this girl was literally, she was very sexually aroused, and she would make us do things, both me and my other relative. She would make us do things to her. And now I have been watching porn, and, I've seen, things with other women doing other women, and women doing men, and men doing men, and all this stuff. But I never had really experienced that. You know what I'm saying? I never really experienced that myself. And so now this young lady is having me and my relative do sexual things to her, laying in my mother's bed. And I just remember it vividly like it happened yesterday. So then you can fast forward to another summer. Or actually before that summer, my brother's dad actually came into the room one night after my mom had gone to sleep. And after she'd gone to sleep, he walked in there and got him a chair, and he sat down by my bed. Now, I had a day bed, and it was a wooden day bed, and he just began touching me and rubbing me all the way until he got, to my private area. And that right there, like, I don't know why I didn't tell my mom about, what happened with the young lady, but that right there with my brother's dad, touching me, I had to tell her. I was extremely uncomfortable. And so I waited like a day or so just to go and tell her what actually happened. But I knew I had to do it away from him.
So you told her, but you just didn't, like, not at the exact moment, I say.
Right, because she was asleep that night, so I was trying to figure out that next day, how am I going to tell my mom what actually happened.
So you did speak up?
Yeah, so I did speak up. I ended up speaking up that like a day or two later, but I knew that, like, the way that our apartment was set up, I had to wait till we went downstairs to go wash laundry. And so I told her down there, but the thing is, the way the apartment is set up, if you open the window in the kitchen, it goes directly to the laundry room that's downstairs. So he overheard everything that I said to my mom. And by the time we came upstairs, by the time we had come up there, he already was ready to, he was on defend himself. Right. And so it was a lot of, yelling and shouting. And, my mom, she put him out. And I was so thankful that she put him out. But, she had my brother. And so that was their child. So I know that she was probably battling. But when she put him out, I felt real good. But then some months later, she let him come back in. And so it was at that point, really, that I really began to feel unprotected at that point, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
because I'm like, that's my mom, right? And I just really didn't know what to do at that point. So I figured, hey, if my mom is just like, let him back in, then like, who else you gonna tell? Like, why would you say anything else that has ever happened, regarding the young girl or, him making me watch porn and all that? I'm telling you that he physically, molested me, and that didn't do anything. So we're going to fast forward to when I would take summers, because I didn't live in the same state as as the rest of my family on either side, my mom's side or my dad's side. So when I turned 14, I would go to visit my family on both sides. And I spent, the summer there or whatever. And this is when I had my first sexual encounter with one of my family members that knew of the dealings with the young lady from that I just shared with you guys about. It's a little I don't know, I'm kind of getting a little, I don't know.
Hold it together, baby.
I am. It just makes me just think about,
it's okay
certain things.
Too.
But anywho, I'm going to get through this. Because I got to get through this, y'all. So basically, my first sexual encounter was not with consent, and it was with someone from my family that I did know that that knew me very well, that knew my family very well, because they were a part of the family, and they knew the right times when you could have sex and the right times when certain people would be around. And so this person took my virginity at the age of 14, and it continued to happen until I threatened to tell my family members. And that last time that happened, I, as I said, I threatened to tell, what was going on, and they never did it again. And so to me, that was rape. Now, think about, my mom letting my brother's dad back in, and then now this happening with someone in my family. Be clear, it's not my dad. I just want to let everybody know that it's not my dad. But this happened, some years later. So in my mind, I'm not feeling protected. You know what I'm saying? I'm not feeling like I can say anything. I just gotta hold this and keep this to myself.
So, question. At this point, having a situation that happened with your brother's dad being way younger, and then turning 14, I'm pretty sure at this point you just trying to figure out how you gonna get past what happened already.
Right, exactly.
And then you turn around and this happens. Now, at the time, your brother's dad was considered family.
Right,
because that's who your mom was with or whatever. So now you turn around, you're 14, and you have a cousin doing the same thing, or taking it to basically to a whole nother level, and taking your virginity. How at this point, what's your mind frame? Like, what's your thoughts? What's going through your head? Because like you say, it continued for a while until you decided to threaten him. So what's your thought process in between it happening and up until the time of you actually threatening him to tell? Like, what's taking place in your mind at this point?
At that time, really, it's just like there's no outlet. Like, so you just hold it in and you just keep it in, and you just, like I said, you just become numb, because you're just like, who can I tell? If I can't trust or feel like I'm protected by the person who birthed me, and I know, and I'm not, putting my mom out there like that, but that was, that your mom is all you have to go to. Now, I was a daddy's girl, but my parents were going through, they had been through a divorce already, and I was daddy's girl, but my dad was on drugs, in and out of jail, and he was getting better, but at the same time, like, he wasn't in the home. So it wasn't like I could just go and be like, oh, I'm going to go tell my daddy, what's going on, because I didn't want him to feel like, okay, like my mom wasn't doing her job. So even as a young person, I'm still thinking ahead of how, if I do say something, how it's going to impact all of the people involved.
Everybody
so
that's involved. You're more concerned about everybody else.
Right.
Versus yourself, the person who you should be the most concerned with above everything.
Right. Because I've just always been that person that has always, there's been expectations of me to always do the right thing, be the person that, that does the right thing at all times. And so that definitely would not have been something that I can say that, even though I know it wasn't my fault, like, I literally just didn't feel like I could, come out and just say, hey, this is what happened, and how is it going to impact the family now? Am I going to be able to go visit both sides of my family? Am I not going to be able to go visit one side of my family? Like, all these things go through my head, and I just...
And you're a kid.
And I'm a child.
You're not an adult. You're a kid. So you didn't have no cousins or female cousins or nobody that you felt like you could talk to. Was you the only one that, when you was going up there with your cousin, and was you the only one, or was they putting their siblings in?
I mean, there was a lot going on that, that people just don't like to talk about, and I don't have the details or the specifics of everything that was going on.
And I'm not trying to bring, I'm saying, anybody else, because I know this is, centrally about you, but I'm just trying to understand your mind frame.
No, there wasn't anybody that I felt, because I was so disconnected. I lived in California, and both sides of my family lived in Arkansas. So
this family, I know y'all, but I don't be around y'all enough like that. Okay.
Right, to be like, hey, I'm just gonna go and say, such and such.
All right, you can.
So then you fast forward. After that, you go to age 16, and I end up being raped by someone that I had just met. Literally, I was supposed to meet up with this dude at the library. I thought, hey, it's a public place. I could meet up with this dude. And I had, not been with the guy that I had been dating for a while. And so I just figured, hey, okay, I'm going to just meet somebody new. Met up with dude at the library, and I went into the bathroom. Dude followed me in the bathroom, and bam, just raped me in the bathroom. And got up, walked out. I've never seen that dude again. So once you begin to add all of the things that have happened starting from 7, 8 years old, to, people in your family, people outside of your family, and how you have come to know about sex, you really don't value sex the way that God intended it to be. At least I didn't. And that's how I ended up, just doing a whole lot of things. And I'm not making excuses for, just having the intellect of knowing what's right and wrong. But even when you have the intellect of knowing what's right and wrong, you still make decisions because not knowing that you're doing something because a seed was planted.
Right.
And
that's across the board though, with all kinds of things. Procrastination could be from a seed that was planted. A drug addiction, me smoking and getting high, you know what I'm saying? It's something that I battled with because of seeds that was planted, you know what I'm saying, coming up. And then you have generational curses and stuff like that, but that's another topic for another day. But I'm just saying, I agree with you, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That.
I definitely think that because those seeds were planted, and as you guys continue to listen more to LOL with QuiQui Symone, you will hear more things that will come out that with this being the root cause of, I believe, why I was as promiscuous as I was. And I'm going to just be honest. I'm going to call it what it is. I was a hoe. That's just call it what it was.
Don't feel bad.
I don't feel, you know.
I was too.
At this point.
Seriously.
At this point, like, I really, when I got older and it wasn't until last year, I think, babe, we were in the car coming back from Tampa from your birthday, and we were talking, and you were just like, babe, you got to get this out. You got to get this out. And to this day, I have forgiven every single person that has offended me or abused me in that manner.
So you ain't holding no grudges?
I ain't holding no grudges. No.
Gotta let go.
I actually was able to reconcile with my brother's dad before he passed away, and I also was able to, within myself, just forgive those individuals who did rape me, and I just have been able to, you know, get through that. And I was able to get through that, but the one thing that really kept holding me back was the fact that I never understood why my mom let my brother's dad back in. And so I say this from a perspective of the child, that parents, please make sure that regardless of what you have going on, make sure that your child is protected at all times, and not for the sake of a relationship. And I'll never know why. My mom let him back in. You know, things could have happened to her, and I just have never known about it. And I've even forgiven her, you know, for that as well.
And you know, like I was sharing with you too, just to add this in, it could have been several different reasons. You know, we don't know the financial situation, the financial help that was needed that he could have been providing. We don't know, you know, and like you said, she was pregnant with his child. You know, her and your dad were at odds. So your dad was out of the picture.
Right.
And you know, like he shared with us, they were supposed to be getting back together, but he was battling his drug addiction. So, you know, being a woman, like you said, you don't know what happened to her as a child.
Right.
Being a woman, just wanting to have that sense of protection, and he probably, to her, was her protection.
Right.
As a man.
Right.
You know, from at least from what she was thinking, but at the same time, you know, in his mind it was different. But you know, it could have been a number of things, and you know,
and what we've got to do is learn how to have closure without that other person coming to apologize, or, you know, if something happens and you never get that apology or that reason why. We've got to learn how to let go of things and release things, because if we bury things, we are still not, you know, it's still alive. We're not killing it. We've got to kill it. And the only way that we can kill it is by releasing it and letting it out, and letting those toxins, the stress, the worry, the anxiety, all of those things, we have to let all of those things out. So holding it in does not help. And it's taken me this long to realize how liberating it is to be able to come out and say that this is something that happened to me, and this is, you know, the seeds that were planted.
It's freedom in it, man. And that's, I just believe, and you know how I am, babe, I believe heavily in transparency, man. I found myself the freest when I have spoke about things, and just me. This is stuff that I dealt with that nobody else knew about, that, you know, what's going on behind closed doors. You have most people, they do their dirt behind closed doors, and they satisfied with that, and they good long as nobody knows. But for me, it's different. You know what I'm saying? For me, it bothers me more when I have something, especially as a believer.
Right.
You know, when I'm dealing with things and everybody else is looking at me like, oh, that's King Gallico. Like, that's, you know, he go hard, he love God, and, you know, bro got dope music, and that's all they know. And they begin to sometimes put you on a pedestal. You know, just like you had, you know, you've had several things that you've been involved in as far as your promotion company and doing shows. So when you came to Jacksonville, which, you know, pretty much where your life began, everybody looked at you a certain way. Everybody held you to, you know, that's Kiki. That's Kiki. You know what I'm saying? Kiki does woo woo woo, but then nobody really knows the things that you deal with or struggle with. And for me, I hate that. That'd be frustrating to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Especially when I'm really going through it at home and I'm battling with whatever I'm battling with, and I really don't want to be dealing with this and battling with it. But then everybody else, you go, and being an artist, you go minister, and people are blessed, and everybody telling you how much they blessed. But then you thinking to yourself, man, I'm like, I want what you just got from
me.
From me.
Right.
I want that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I kind of got off on the tangent right there a little bit, but
no, that was good stuff. Babe.
But so yeah, I forgot what we were saying.
No,
I need to start me a podcast. I got stuff I want to say,
and let me be your sidekick.
Nah, we're gonna stick with you. We're gonna run the topics through you, and you gonna quarterback this thing, and I'm gonna play my position.
Well, I appreciate that, babe. But yeah, we're just really talking about and basically summing up everything about, releasing, getting it out, not holding it in, finding that person to talk to. That's the one thing that I didn't have, or at least I didn't think I have. Everybody says, and it kind of goes with what you were saying. I kind of thought that I had somebody that I could talk to, but then you're afraid of what people might think of, after you shared what you shared. What will people think about me?
Is that why you wait? Is that one of the reasons why you waited so long to talk about it? Were you afraid? Were you just afraid to speak on it, period? Were you trying to cover for these family members? Or did you feel like, man, people see me, they know me as Kiki's mom, a Christian, I love God, woo woo, but they don't know this happened. They don't know, the things that I've struggled with that led up to this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that I was just more so okay with the image of who Kiki was. And the thing was, people really never really knew me. They knew what they saw, but a lot of people never really knew me because I kept it to myself. I was the go-to person. My couch was the couch that people came over to cry and talk about, the things that were going on. And I was the one that was helping others and ministering to others and, supporting people. I was that person for a lot of other people, but... So
you had to be, you felt like you had to keep this image of being strong and...
Right.
Being the counselor. But who counsels the counselor?
Right. And that was the difficult part. And it's frustrating being around a lot of people and still feeling alone. It's very frustrating knowing that you have a lot of people that are around you and even your inner circle, but you still feel alone because you don't feel that you can share or talk about certain things. And, move forward from it. And that's just really how I felt. And that's why, for you, babe, I know, like, when you go through things, I know it's difficult for you. And, it's even difficult for me, even when we go through stuff, because I can't go around sharing everything that we go through, So, and I'm not saying I'm in that same place that I was then, but I'm just saying, like, we've got to get things out. We've got to release. We've got to... I'm not saying go tell your business to everybody, but now I'm able to handle things a lot better because I know how to come to God and be okay with it and go to maybe one or two people that I know are really going to pray.
Right.
That are really going to have my best interest and not going to go and tell somebody else, oh, such and such going through this. So this is what happened. Right. Like, literally now I know, like, the individuals that I can really go to, and they are going to intercede on my behalf. And even as I come out and share more things, I know people are, even more shocked of the things that come out. But at the end of the day, this is my journey. This is what God has allowed me to go through. I'm not complaining about it at all. At this point, I'm grateful and thankful to God that because of those things, that there are so many other men and women that I am able to minister to because of what I've gone through from the age of 7. And
man.
Yes.
Woo, that's a lot, y'all.
It is.
That's a lot, man. I remember when she first told me, when you first told me, man, I was so angry, y'all. Like, I was
Yeah, he
like,
was
bruh,
mad.
who is this cousin? I don't even think, was we together when you told me that? Yeah, we was together, I think.
I don't
think
know.
you told me
But
on the
we
way on
talked
one
a
of our
lot
trips
when
to
we
Atlanta.
were dating. We talked a lot because we were very close. Like,
I was like, bruh, like I was so angry and mad. Like, I don't know, that junk was crazy, bro. So I just being on the being in my shoes, hearing her tell me about it, I was so angry. So I can only imagine how, you know, the individuals that's dealing with this stuff might feel. That's a lot, man.
it's a lot, but and I'm just thankful that God has allowed me to not let it stay buried and just to come out of it and to be able to speak on it. Because now, as you've been able to attest to, like now I am a lot freer when it comes to things and being transparent. I think that's the reason why I clung so much to you, because I saw how transparent you were. And that's something that I really desired to have without even really realizing it. And so that's pretty much what happened. But yeah, that's our podcast for today.
Shout out to me with my transparent self.
Shout out to Babe.
But glory to God though. You know what I'm saying? Because it's God who gave me the heart that I have, man. And
Amen.
That's a blessing, man. But so yeah, man, we got like we say, man, it's a lot more coming. A lot of other topics, you know, some deeper things and some things that just, you know, just need to be talked about. And like for the most part, like I say, man, we try to keep it we don't come out here, we see somebody else going through something and we want to talk about it and we don't know how it feel. We ain't never been there, but we want to give our 2 cents and our input and all of this. And it's like, yeah, we keeping it real, man. And
we keeping it really real. So since we've been so heavy, let me just give you a joke of the day so we can end this thing.
Okay.
Okay, so babe, let me ask you.
We might have to. We gonna definitely might have to do a part 2 to this, to where we can just come back and you can you know, kind of give talk more to those individuals who've been through what you've been through, because this is pretty much you just sharing your story and you know grabbing your freedom. I feel like this was kind of like the last straw for you concerning the situation of everything. You've talked to everybody that you need to talk to and stuff like that. And I think just, you know, kind of do a little bit more research and then come back and do a part 2 and just be able to talk to those individuals, you know what I'm saying, and give more tips and things in terms of if anybody is dealing with this, they hear this and they dealing with the same situations, you know, what to do and how to go about it. And I think you did that. You did do that, you know, here and there periodically, but I just think it deserves a little bit more attention. You know?
Gotcha. So let me give you the joke of the day, babe.
All right,
you want
what's
the joke of the day so we can end this right, since we've been so heavy. Why is a doctor always calm?
Oh, Lord.
Why is a doctor always calm?
Why is a doctor always calm? Oh, he has a lot of patience.
I think he saw my notes.
I did not. I ain't see it. I'm a rapper. I'm an artiste.
Whatever.
I am good with words.
Whatever.
You know what I'm saying? Why is a doctor calm? Because he has a lot of patience.
Okay, so he got me this time, but I can guarantee you the next one he won't get.
I'm going to know the next one too,
he ain't
man.
Gonna know the next
look,
one,
man. Hey, man, this is what I do. You
no, it ain't what he do.
Yeah. She thought I wasn't going to know, y'all.
He was watching my paper, y'all. I promise.
No, you want me to be honest?
Because you saw my paper?
No, you said that one before.
Really?
You said it to me. I don't think you did it on any of the last things, but I think you said that to me before.
Look at you.
You know what I'm saying? At first I ain't know though. But then when I started to think, it hit me.
You was trying to remember. And that's all that was.
But yeah, man. So we pray that y'all was blessed, man. And we just pray over the lives of all of the listeners, that y'all got something from this, man, that you can take from this and, you know, be better, become better in life. And for the individuals that's going through this, we definitely pray for y'all's situation. You know, pray that God gives you that outlet and gives you a out concerning the situation, man. So,
Take it to God.
So, man, you already know what time it is, man.
This is LOL with QuiQui Symone and friend, special one.
What?
My bad, King Alico.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, all that. You know what I'm saying? Mr. You hear that? Mr. AA, Mr. Handle the business, man. You know.
Been nice.
But yeah, man, we love y'all, man.
Love y'all.
LOL with QuiQui Symone, man.
And we out.
Cook Up Academy.
I know you want it, you looking for it. I know who got it. She talk about it in every EP, leave you island. Don't nobody ever be on what she be on. This is LOL with QuiQui Symone. Life out loud. So can we please get a round of applause? You are not rocking with the best. Sit back and take notes. What you get drenched on the rainy days? But it's an app for that, like umbrella. Sit back and take quote. Wait, I mean cover. She mashed potato, her toppings, and just like gravy on top of it. Every topping she cover. I mean it's QuiQui Symone, so when QuiQui come on, you should listen. She different from any other. Ask Mike Ups, I bet he say it's not a nail nutter. Like what you need, I bet she got it for you. Check the catalog, like well, oh well. Whether it's life out loud or you just need a laugh, it's LOL. Yeah, with QuiQui Symone, please leave me alone when the show come on. Don't touch that dial, lower your tone.
Hey, Kiki on.
I know you want it, you looking for it. I know who got it. She talk about it in every EP, leave you island. Don't nobody ever be on what she be on.